Behind every great discovery are strange, risky, and sometimes dangerous experiments. Today we'll explore 20 bizarre scientific experiments that their creators later regretted deeply. Some were shocking, some terrifying, and others just plain weird. Let's dive in. The elephant on LSD, 1962. In Oklahoma, scientists injected a 3,000 kilodose elephant named Tusko with a massive dose of LSD, nearly 3,000 times a human dose, to test psychedelic effects. Moments later, Tusko collapsed and died. The researchers later admitted the experiment was poorly designed and ethically troubling. They deeply regretted this careless and fatal test. 2. Russian sleep experiment, the real one. No, not the creepypasta version. In the 1940s, Soviet scientists used sleep deprivation on political prisoners, keeping them awake for days using stimulant gas. While exact details remain classified, post-Soviet reports suggest horrific mental breakdowns. Many involved scientists later expressed regret about the psychological torture they oversaw. 3. The Monster Study, 1939. Wendell Johnson wanted to study stuttering, but instead he traumatized orphans. He gave positive speech therapy to one group and negative reinforcement to another. The children in the negative group, who spoke fluently before, developed long-term speech issues. Johnson later called it the worst mistake of his career. 4. Stanford Prison Experiment, 1971. Psychologist Philip Zimbardo turned students into guards and prisoners. In less than a week, the guards became sadistic, and the prisoners broke down mentally. Zimbardo later admitted he let the situation get out of control. He called the outcome disturbing and was haunted by it for years. 5. Project MKUltra, 1950s to 60s. The CIA's mind control program used unsuspecting people as guinea pigs for LSD, hypnosis, and sensory deprivation. Many were permanently mentally damaged or committed suicide. Documents were destroyed to cover it up, and officials later regretted the program's unethical secrecy and horrifying results. 6. The cat telephone, 1929. Scientists removed parts of a cat's skull, attached electrodes to its auditory nerve, and used it as a biological phone. While they could transmit sounds, the method was so cruel and unnecessary that it was later condemned, even by the scientific community. No useful technology came out of it. 7. Henrietta Lacks, 1951. Doctors took Henrietta Lacks' cancer cells without her consent, leading to major medical breakthroughs like the polio vaccine. But the ethical breach led to massive debates. Her family never gave permission or received compensation. Scientists later admitted the breach of ethics was inexcusable. Height Unit 731, World War II. Japanese scientists under Shiro Ishii conducted live dissections, frostbite experiments, and plague tests on prisoners. Thousands died, and the horrors were later admitted by some who took part. The regret was lifelong, and many called it science turned evil. 9. David Reimer, Gender Experiment. Psychologist John Money advised a botched circumcision case be turned into a gender reassignment experiment. David was raised as a girl, Brenda, but always felt wrong. He later took his life. This unethical case shocked the world, and the regret was immense. It changed the way gender is studied forever. 10. The Milgram Experiment, 1961. Stanley Milgram wanted to study obedience to authority. He made participants believe they were electrocuting others. Many were traumatized. Some cried during the experiment. Milgram later admitted he underestimated the emotional toll and the moral questions it raised. 11. The aversion therapy of the 60s. LGBTQ individuals were subjected to electroshocks and chemical nausea therapy to cure their orientation. Years later, even the doctors who believed in the method expressed regret, especially after patients shared stories of trauma, depression, and suicide. 12. The self-experimenting parasite. Scientist Joseph Goldberger feeks and infected himself with pellagra to prove it wasn't contagious but diet-related. Although his intentions were noble, he suffered severely and later said he wouldn't recommend such methods again. 13. Hallucinogenic spiders. NASA gave spiders drugs like caffeine, LSD, and marijuana to observe changes in web patterns. While amusing, the project was criticized as pointless and absurd. Many involved later questioned why it was funded in the first place. 14. The Robbers Cave Experiment, 1954. Psychologists created tension between two groups of boys at a summer camp to study conflict. The boys nearly became violent, and emotional harm was evident. The researchers later admitted they pushed it too far and underestimated the psychological consequences. 15. Head transplants on dogs, 1950s. Soviet scientist Vladimir Demikov surgically attached the head of one dog to another's body. The two-headed dogs lived briefly, but the grotesque experiments were widely criticized. Demikoff later admitted it was more about shock than science. 16. Laughing gas experiments, 1800s. Early dentists and scientists experimented on themselves with nitrous oxide, laughing gas. Some overdosed, passed out, or nearly died. While it led to better anesthesia, the reckless self-testing was later considered highly irresponsible. 17. Isolation tanks, John Lilly. Neuroscientist John Lilly floated in isolation tanks, high on ketamine to study the mind. He believed he contacted dolphins and aliens. While fascinating, he later said the experiments blurred the line between genius and madness and nearly ruined his mind. 18. Bee sting pain index. Justin Schmidt allowed insects to sting him on purpose to rank pain levels. From sweat bees to bullet ants, he subjected himself to unimaginable pain. Later in life, he admitted he took things too far, describing some stings as spiritual torture. 19. Spider goat, genetic modification. Scientists implanted spider DNA into goats to produce silk and milk. It worked, but the public was horrified. Critics slammed it as genetic monstrosity. Even the lead researchers admitted it raised more ethical concerns than benefits. 20. The God helmet, 1990s. Psychologist Michael Persinger designed a helmet that stimulated the brain's temporal lobes, making people feel the presence of a god or spirit. While the experiment was fascinating, it was also controversial. Persinger later admitted, it was too easy to mislead people and exploit their spiritual beliefs. These weren't just experiments. They were ethical wake-up calls. They pushed science forward, but at a heavy cost. Some played with life, some with death, and some with the human mind. Which experiment shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. And remember, curiosity may drive discovery, but without ethics, it can become a nightmare. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more dark science stories.